Hey guys, welcome to the fourth and final day of the Guild Wars 2 live streams. If you guys have been following the action, we've shown you multiple parts of Guild Wars 2. We've shown you World v. World, we've shown you Living World, we've shown you PvP, and today we're going to cap it off with a couple exhibition matches between some of the top players in Guild Wars 2. We've got some members from the Civilized Gentlemen and Cheese Mode. For those of you that are curious, my name is Joshua Davis. I'm the Competitive Events Manager at ArenaNet, and I'm joined by...
Jebro. Today. Daniel.
Just today, though?
Just today.
Okay, this is just Jebro today.
Jebro today.
Jebro's one of our shoutcasters. He helps run some of the ESL Weekly Cups that we run and some of the larger tournaments, including some participation in the World Tournament Series. So we're going to jump into game here. We're going to do, hopefully, up to 3 matches. And these are kind of just fun games. Not going to be too serious.
Exhibition matches are always good, and with these teams, like you said, we've got some awesome players playing on these teams, like All-Stars that we had at Gamescom as well.
Yeah, so a lot of the players here are from TCG, right? So we've got Denji, who's going to be 720 Fire Grab, no scope MLG, right? And we've got Rom. We've also got Sizer, Helseth, and yeah, it's a pretty rounded team there. Also, Cheese Mode is probably one of the best teams in EU as well. So we've mixed up the rosters a bit, though. A lot of the teams were kind of hesitant on playing, going serious on stream right before the WTS playoffs kind of kick off here next month. So they want to just kind of keep it more casual, which I'm totally cool with. We're kind of just doing this for the exhibition match anyways. So. Anyways, Jebro, let's go ahead and talk about a couple of different teams here. We're just going to call them Red Team and Blue Team today, since they are mixed rosters.
Yeah, we can do
that. And let's just talk about the different roles the players are going to be filling. Let's not get too in-depth on the builds.
Sure.
We'll kind of just talk high level about what the kind of roles are going to be filling on these teams.
Indeed. Should we start on the Red Team?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. Okay, so having a look at Red 11, he's going to be playing the Thief. So Thief role in Guild Wars 2 mainly in SPVP. He wants to be very mobile around the map. He's got lots of mobility, especially with, as you can see there, with the short bow, which currently looks like a slingshot, which is one of the cool skins in the game. But he's going to be very mobile, getting those decaps, also putting a lot of damage on single targets on different team fights. Doesn't want to be involved heavily in those fights, but like I said, very mobile around the map.
Okay. All right, moving on to Lypion. So Lypion's going to be playing a Axe Warhorn build, which is kind of a newer thing in the European meta here. And so his role here is going to be, he's good at doing burst damage, but also sustained damage. He's running Celestial Amulet, and he's going to be really focused on stacking might, right? So he's going to have a lot of damage increase from buffs, and he'll be able to do both hybrid damage, so power damage and a little bit of condition application as well. Very strong 101. He'll probably be pushing far point or defending home point.
Yeah, it could be quite tanky as well, with that amulet, with all those different stats that he has. So going over to 720, he's going to be playing the Elementalist. And this build is very, it's kind of bunkery, survivable as well. We have conditions in Guild Wars 2. He can cleanse those conditions for his team. And with no Guardian on their team, that's going to be quite important. So he'll probably be in team fights quite a lot. And he can do 1v1 sustained fights for quite a long time. And in the team fights, he will be very useful for the healing and whatnot. He's got Rune of Strength at the moment, so he will be using the Dagger build, as you can see here.
Alright, so moving on to Rom. So Rom is traditionally a warrior, but it looks like he's switching it up today and playing something I haven't seen in a long time. So he's going to be playing a Sword, Dagger, Shortbow Ranger with a Rabbit Amulet. So he's condition focused, right? He's going to be running a Rune and Crate. He's going to increase his bleed application there. And yeah, it looks like he's just going to be running, I guess, kind of a trap build with, I really don't know what to think of this here.
It's kind of survivable as well. Like 1v1s, this is a build for 1v1s in my opinion as well. But with those with that trap he's got, it's nice AoE, and also with his elite, he can CC a lot of targets in one place, and they can place the AoE down, which they've got a lot of on their team.
All right, I'll move on to the last one here and cover this real quick here. So we have, he's actually PhD playing his character. I'm not going to pronounce that name there, but. We're just going to call him PhD today. So no, he's going to be playing Hambo Warrior with Soldier's Amulet, which is going to be a very tanky build. Really focused on doing AoE damage, a lot of crowd control, a lot of CC coming out from him. Has a lot of sustain, right? He's got a lot of utilities here that are going to be able to keep him in fights. He's going to have Berserker Stance, which makes him immune to conditions. He also has Endure Pain, which makes him immune to direct damage. Very well-rounded, all-around build, right? So he's going to be able to do a lot of work there. And let's move on to TechSpeed.
Okay, so going over to TechSpeed, me and Josh know a little bit about Engineer being our main characters, so we'll probably have a little bit of both to say about this build. He's playing a standard build, or standard meta build as we call it in Guild Wars 2. His is very condition orientated. He's actually gone for a more defensive utility with it, which is Elixir S, which can actually make him stealth on his tool belt skills, which you can see above the main weapon skills. And if he does use the activate, which is on the right hand side, he can turn small, becomes invulnerable, and he can down opponents, which is sometimes a bit of a problem for engineers. But he can be quite mobile around the map with the trait which is called Speedy Kits, which is going to give him some permanent swiftness as he changes out of these kits that he currently has at the bottom.
All right, moving on to Sizer. Sizer's going to be playing Sword Dagger Thief. So the Sword Dagger Thief is, he really focuses on evades, right? He focuses on just kind of like the DP Thief, going in, doing a lot of damage, and because he has so many evades, he can kind of stay a little bit longer than a DP Thief. But really, he gets in there, does a ton of damage, especially with his Larcenous Strike, right?
Yeah.
He can rip boons, especially with his Mug and Bountiful Theft and Sleight of Hand combo. He can rip stability off really well off of enemy Team Guardians or Warriors, whatever they have been running at the time, Elementalists even, and it's really all well-rounded build. So Sizer's kind of the pioneer of this build as well. So if you want to see this build played well, I mean, you're watching the right guy for this.
This is so true. He's going to be. He is like. It's quite annoying, I would say, when you come up against him. That's the more polite way of saying that. Shall I have a look at Helseth here, see what he's playing. Looks like he's going to be playing standard shatter build. So with the Mesmers, he does produce clones, and then he can shatter those clones onto his enemy to get a lot of burst damage, which is what is mainly this build is about. He's very mobile as well. He has the portal, as you can see, on the right-hand side, which is under his utilities, and also a blink. So blink is just literally a retreat or going forward, wherever you can place it. So it's not... it's pretty good for mobility, and his utility is also Omar, which is going to be very useful for taking down more tanky players on the opposite team.
Yeah. So conceptually, the Mesmer is about deception, right? About trickery, diversion. They spawn clones, which are identical to the actual Mesmer himself, and so you can use those to kind of confuse your enemy and put the fight in your advantage.
Very fun build to play as well. If you can get your burst damage, you can take down most targets pretty quickly.
All right, moving on to Zapdos. Zapdos is going to be playing I guess he's going to be playing Staff. Let me check the traits real quick here.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be playing Staff Elementalist with a Celestial Amulet and Rune of the Pirate, meaning he's going to have a lot of team support here, right? Staff has tons of team support, but because he's running Celestial Amulet and he's going to have a ton of sustained damage as well, right? He can do damage on point with direct damage. He also will be able to apply a bit of conditions as well. It's going to be great, interesting seeing how this goes. He also has Cleansing Water, so anytime he pops into water, he can lay down his cleansing, his 5 skill on his staff, rather, sorry.
That's right.
And he can cleanse conditions AoE, so it's just a really great all-around build here, and I expect him to do a lot of work for this team.
Yeah, he's going to be very useful. It's actually quite a good side node defender and also offensive player, because he can do a lot of knockbacks, and Zapdos is one of the best staff elementalists.
Right, and the attacks have a large AoE radius, right? And the entire point of Conquest is staying on those points, make sure to keep them capped, and having the entire point covered with damage really makes that difficult for the other team.
On-point pressure is very nice from this staff elementalist indeed. Looks like we potentially have another staff elementalist in the form of Liv.
Well, looking at his traits here, I actually think he might be going for DD.
Yeah,
he's not running Blasting Staff, so I think he's going to go for DD here instead. So kind of the same build that Denshi was running on the other side, so 720 Fire Grab will be running the same build here. Feeling the same kind of role where he goes in, does a lot of sustained damage, can do a little bit of a burst, focuses on stacking buffs on himself for additional damage, and just really kind of fights with through attrition, right? He can wear his enemies down while sustained self-healing and kind of keep himself up in these fights.
Yeah, the Ellies are really tough to kill. You really need to lock them down. With the Thief Steels as well, they can grab those boons off. Hopefully there's something that's we're going to see quite a lot of. And just to note, with the staff, it's about the pre-game buffing. So even though he's using the staff at the moment, it's just to gain some swiftness for the guys as they run out into the map. He'll just do a quick changeover. So yeah, some nice builds there. Tankiness without the Guardian. It's quite interesting.
All right, and so we mentioned Conquest a little bit there. So this is about there's 3 capture points in the map here. I'll pull up the mini map here in a second. So we have 3 capture points. So we have one here, we have one here, and we have one here. And owning these capture points will generate points to your team, right? We also have 2 side objectives. They're going to be right about here and here. And killing those side objectives, they're basically NPCs that stand there. They kind of just idle around until you come and say hi to them. And if you kill those NPCs, they'll grant your team 25 extra points and an additional 40 points to each one of your stats for your character.
Really nice.
Now, the crucial thing here is, though, is that the team that scores the last hit on those NPCs is actually the team that's going to take home the points from that. So when you go for those bosses, you kind of have to judge whether or not going for it's going to be a good, at the opportune moment. Like, because you could have like an enemy thief there, someone who's able to do a lot of burst damage, could come in at the very last second and steal that kill from you. All the work you put in really is for nothing, and now you're behind even further in points.
We've got a lot of burst on the blue team as well, so Sizer's quite well known for, getting those last-minute sneaky kills on those bosses that you mentioned. So he's going to be one of those people who will be probably doing that.
All right, so Jeb, I've started the map here. We're going to be going into game one between our two Super Pug teams. And why don't you call out the splits for us here as they come out of the gate?
Will do indeed. So red team spawning on the right side, blue team on the left. Just waiting to start the game for 3, 2, 1. See how we're going to split. Looks like red team mainly going to come out the right-hand side gate, being a little bit more defensive with the cross from Sizer and also from Lord Helseth over towards the mine. So going over to the mine, we're going to see maybe a small 2v2 possibly, although Lycon is solo on the point. Red team members have come back to try and initiate some kind of defense over here, but need to be careful about overcommitting too many players, because at the moment PhD has gone to midpoint 1 versus 2.
So you mentioned over here on the mine side, they actually threw a Moa right onto Lipion right out of the gate here. What happens there is he won't be able to use any of his normal skills. It replaces this bar with a couple of skills that aren't super powerful, and they tried getting an early burst out of Lipion. Unfortunately, Sizer and Helseth not able to take advantage of that Moa form, and looks like Lipion will be actually capping that home point there, and will be moving the fight into the midpoint.
Yeah, midpoint's going to be the point of all the action at the moment. You do see Red Levin's actually gone to potentially get decap over at Henge, but this big team fight that's happening on the mid is quite important and can turn the tides. What happens when you come into Guild Wars 2 SPVP, and at the beginning of the match it's a little bit sketchy, you're not sure how well it's going to go, and then after this fight's been finished it will kind of calm down, and then we'll see how the rest of the tactics come into play. We do see 720 is actually on the point getting the most caps at the moment, but Red have got their decap. There is decap currently over on the mine point with Lyfian going down into the downstate of Lord Helseth. Going to get that secured down. It looks like blue team might be coming up with 2 caps at the moment.
All right, so we do have Tex being downstate on the point right now. We do have PhD kind of hurting right now. He had a lot of poison up time on him. And as you know, Warriors really focus on passive healing right now with the healing signet. If you have a lot of poison on him, which reduces your healing income, really just put him in a tough spot.
Yeah, and with those adrenaline, he managed to get quite a few conditions off him, like you said, it's quite well noted. And they're doing okay at the mid. Red Levin is in a bit of trouble, actually, with Sizer on his back. So Thief versus Thief, this 1v1 kind of will be happening around the map at different times. It's good to apply pressure to each other so that they can't focus on the players that are potentially going to go down. Zapdos is in the downstate in the mid. He has gone into Vapor form. He's going to go down on the point. Because if Liv is going to be able to come out and get the actual res, but that's not going to happen. Too much cleave on this body. And Zapdos is going to go out, and Liv as well is currently in the downstate. So red team most likely going to take the midpoint at the moment, and they really need to get some points on the map.
All right, so coming into the gate here, as you can see, the blue team's a lot stronger in terms of points, right? But they are just having a really hard time in these team fights here. Kind of just getting, cleaved down, a lot of damage on point, and they just really can't do anything to it right now.
Not at the moment. I mean, blue are very, very mobile, and we spoke about this before the game. Red team only just getting that cap, and that losing that mine point, they have to be very careful at the moment. They're kind of pigeonholing themselves into one area of the map, and that's almost very dangerous for them to do, because if blue team are winning the team fights and the 2v2s, they're going to end up keeping the point, and they could even just move to mid at this rate.
Yeah, speaking of mine point, we did see Helseth go through a portal there, all the way coming back into mine. Lipian was there ready for him. He's able to take Helseth down immediately. He did get rezzed up though, so now there's a bit of a skirmish breaking out on point.
Nice little move there from Helseth, jumping up on the rocks to get out of all that AoE cleave on the point. But actually a nice pursuit from Rom there, just running after Helseth. He's going to be able to put a lot of conditions on. Of course, Mesmer doesn't have a massive amount of condition removal, so it's a good matchup for him to have. Going back over to the mine point as well, although Henge has just been decapped by Liv, by PhD, which is a really good move, and him versus Liv is a nice matchup again. If we can get some nice AoE damage on the point, that's potentially going to push the engineer off to gain him a few caps.
Yeah, watching Rom and Helseth go at it is actually kind of funny. These guys are big teammates here, and you know Rom is just really not doing anything right now. He's just chasing Helseth around the map. Not really playing the map correctly, but it's just like that. I'm going to get you, you're on my team, I'm going to punish you, because we're good pals.
Yeah, it's always good to just take your mates down and out of the fight as well, because it's always bragging rights later on. But we are going to see 720 go down on the midpoint again. Any res coming out from Rom doesn't look like he's going to. I think Sizer just brought the SR out as well to just get himself out of a bit of trouble, and also for Helseth as well there. And the Chaos Storm coming down this point. 720 not getting any res at all from his teammates, not able to. There's too much AoE on the point. We're going to run all the points mainly on contested at the moment, although Red Team have recapped the mine over on the right hand side.
Yeah, I think that the midpoint there, I think it's the right call by Rom not to go for that res onto Denchi. There's two very strong DPS characters there. Sizer and Helseth, very well known for their ability to go in there and do a ton of damage. And they were just waiting for Rom to go in for that res, and had he gone in, he just would have gotten melted immediately.
Exactly, really good decision. And like Josh said, you've really got to choose between doing that and not, because it can mean basically the cap in those team fights. There is some pressure coming in from PhD again over on the henge point, but Lip's doing really well against him at the moment. It might actually take him into the down state, and no one's coming in to help PhD on this 1v1, which might be a little bit of error. But if they do come over and help him, they potentially will lose any other fights going on the rest of the map at the moment. Helseth is ranging onto point versus Texaby, sorry, not versus Texaby, versus 720, over on the mine node. And the only cap that we have on the map is mid for the blue team.
Yeah, one thing to note here is that the meta in Guild Wars 2 has changed recently from a bunker meta to where you always have like the standard bunker guardian on your team, who's kind of like the cornerstone and linchpin of your team.
Yep.
The ones that are able to support you in team fights. And it's kind of moved to a 5 DPS meta, to where there's always 5 DPS players on the map. No one really runs a guardian unless they're running them with the berserker amulet, focusing them on doing damage, because anyone could fill any role essentially in Guild Wars 2. And so what we have now is a lot of players playing for a 3-point strategy, so there's lots of little small skirmishes, 1v1, 2v2s, occasionally 3v3s, instead of the traditional 4v4 team fights that you used to see with a Guardian meta.
Which is a lot more exciting as well as we come into this meta. Like you say, we're pushed over towards the henge node with PhD going up against Lib once again, but this time he's got the help from Lypion, so they should be able to dispense the engineer really quickly. We are going to see some support coming from Helseth. If no one sees him, they can get some nice burst damage off, but PhD has seen him, trying to get that stun off and trying to lock him down, potentially with Lypion as well. They could take Helseth out very quickly, but this 2v2 kind of tough for the Warriors. They need to close down the gap quite a lot if they can, and Helseth very good at kiting along with Lib as well.
Alright, so moving over to the midpoint here, looks like Zapdos was taken down by Denchi. I'm not sure if he had any help there. I do see Rom moving off point. So I'm assuming that was a quick 2v1. Sizer getting a decap over here on mine. Might be getting a full cap. Rom coming in, going to try to stop him. And it looks like he'll be able to do that, so they're going to have a little bit of a 1v1 on point here while the point stays neutralized.
Yeah, and Rom's going to have some issues against Sizer, of course. Like you were saying before, the start of the game is very evasive, and he can be just permanently evading, just piling on those conditions from here from time to time as well. And have a look at Rom's build. He doesn't have that condition removal from the heal. He's actually gone from the troll heal, which is more of a heal over time kind of ability, so that condition removal is limited. So it's going to be quite good for Sizer, and you can see it in this fight at the moment. Rom's kind of struggling. Might be nice to get some help over here, but if they do that, the henge fight will definitely not be a way for the team to come back into the game. Although red team looks like they've secured that node at the moment. Zapdos is going to come in though, and he's going to push off Lypion. Texby's coming back into the point to offer some long-term pressure, along with PhD on the other side as well.
And a quick note as well, looks like the red team did grab, is going to be Chieftain Udahein over on the side there, so they're going to have a buff of additional 40 stat points for the next couple minutes, and they've also earned an extra 25 points to their score. So we saw early game, blue team came out of the gate strong. They had a very, very strong lead, and red team was better in skirmish fights, but they just were not able to hold those capture points. And now we're kind of seeing the tides turn a little bit here with red team coming back into the game.
Yeah, with those extra points as well, which hasn't been, they've been losing most of the team fights. They've started to do a little bit better with their rotations now, but those extra stats are really going to help them, I feel, in this game. They did, of course, bring them back into the game, but losing another cap now, they've got no caps, no points coming into the map. Blue are going to start steaming ahead unless red are very careful and they can get some decaps in the map.
All right, so Rom versus Sizer is still going on right now. Rom almost able to take Sizer out. Unfortunately, he did miss his elite there, and kind of put Sizer in the lead here. Sizer actually taking Rom down well off point, so he's going to get the point here. And I'm not sure if Rom's going to try to res himself up here. He does have a lot of poison on himself, so if he tries to go for the pet res, it could take a while.
Yeah, that's the thing. And in Guild Wars 2, of course, we do have this down state. So leaving your opponent down to bleed like he just did to cap the point is keeping Rom out of the game, out of the fight, and it's going to push blue team's points even further ahead. It's steaming ahead now by about 100. It was quite close, but with that free cap, it's really beneficial to blue team at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. In a kind of a crazy turn of events here, red team loses most of their skirmishes and small fights on side points, and gave themselves up to a 3 cap for the blue team here. Blue team rocketing ahead in terms of points.
So how can we see the red team come back into this now? I mean, it's a difficult point of the game. You know, 150 points. They still need, red team need another 250 points to win, of course, plus that. And they're currently losing players on the map. PhD has been rezzed towards the mine node at the moment as they start to gather around that node. And they have retaken 2 of the points gone into contention. Red team do have mine. So there is a chance that they can come back. It's very difficult at the moment. And maybe we can see them come back into this game.
Yeah, I think the strategy is essentially sound, right? Like, they've been playing 3 points a lot of the game here. Right now they're playing for 2 points. And really what just happened is that they just had they had a rough time in those 1v1s and those 2v2s. Rom losing to Sizer 1v1 there, you know, secured them the home point. And really you just got to win the 1v1s in this meta right now. Rom is, to his credit, playing something that he's not normally used to playing. He is a warrior main. And it's actually the first time I've seen him play a ranger. So maybe a little out of his element here today.
Yeah, I think I've seen him play some Power Ranger builds as well, some more bursty damage. But, I mean, he's doing quite nicely at the moment. But like you said, he's completely different to what he normally plays. On Warrior, he's an utter beast. And, yeah, he's still doing quite well versus Caesar. We've got such a big team fight happening at the mid at the moment. Red team going down, though. Lypion is low on HP, but he's just pushing Helseth away to apply that pressure. So he's not going to be able to get some shatters on node, getting into that X and trying to get that Eviscerate down onto Zapdos, who's really doing a fantastic job on point with Lib at the moment. And trying to put down that static field to get the stun off, which is going to be not affecting any of the red team members at the moment, but a lot of on-point pressure, but it's not fast enough to get the node into their favor and to switch this game up.
All right, these 2 elementals on point have a ton of sustain, right, between the 2 of them. Between Evasive Arcana and just the regular heals that they have, it's just amazing sustain. Looks like a Moa did go out onto Lypion. Lypion actually getting stomped out here. He was able to burst it down alongside of that Moa form. Again, when you're in Moa, you lose a lot of your abilities. You actually lose all of your abilities, so you're really just depending on your teammates to help keep you alive. And unfortunately, did not have the support he needed.
I was going to say, you're running around like a headless chicken, but you've got a head.
Well, you actually do have a head, yeah. It's like a headed Moa.
A headed Moa chicken thing.
Ooh, tons of damage coming, tons of Sizer coming in with Helseth, taking out, who was that? That was Red Levin on point there? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, they're really good. They're wiping across the map now. You see 720's gone down, Red Levin's in down state, and red team need to regroup, possibly send someone to mid, but you know, versus Zapdos, as you said before, you know, it's not a fight, is that they're going to win very quickly, and that's something which needs to happen. With 50 points left on the map, you've got to give it to the blue team at the moment.
Yeah, Helseth and Sizer are old teammates there. They've one of the strongest teams in EU, if not the strongest. Again, their entire team got voted in for the All-Star tournament at Gamescom a couple months ago. And yeah, these guys are just insane synergy, able to call a target, burst it down almost immediately. I don't think there's really anything that Red Levin could have done there.
It's almost like an intuition between these players, you know. They don't even need to talk. They're just like, yeah, we know who to focus.
Well, on that note, I mean, there was a lot of turnover in top teams, right? A lot of teams will form up and break up once they, either win or lose a large tournament. And TCG is one of the teams that stuck around for such a long time, right? And even though they're not playing with a full roster right now, you can just tell the synergies they've built up by playing together so much is really just helping them win these games.
Indeed. Congratulations to the blue team. 500 points to 265.
All right, so we'll be moving into the next game here. So we're going to try it again. We got about half an hour left here. Well, actually, probably we're going to try to play all 3 maps, rather, instead of best of 3. But we got half an hour left here. The next map we're moving into is going to be called Legacy of the Foe Fire. And so, again, it's a conquest map. So we have 3 capture points in the map there that have, they're very important for earning points, obviously. Without those, you will definitely lose. And the secondary mechanic on that map, as every Guild Wars 2 map has a secondary mechanic, secondary mechanic on this map is going to be the Guild Lord, kind of a homage to Guild Wars 1 and GVG and whatnot. So killing the Guild Lord is going to net your team 150 points, and depending on where your team is at in terms of points, it could give you an instant win. The 350 point threshold is kind of where the danger zone is, right? You hit 350 points, you have to start watching the Lord, make sure he doesn't get a sneak kill on it from the enemy team, or else you'll find yourself going home.
Yeah, I actually really love this map because of that. There's so many dramatic moments that can come out. We've seen in previous tournaments where there'll be a team really close to getting that 500 points. The other team will sneak into the opposite team's base. They know what's happening and they're just praying. They're praying that they're not going to take the Lord down to sneak that win. And the other thing that's really nice as well is with the gates, of course, being able to destroy those, you can actually operate kind of a distraction tactic to make the other team think you are going to go for their Lords. So much like World v World, a gate obviously a little bit easier to destroy as we don't have the siege here, but yeah, always a nice distracting tactic actually in this map.
So one thing to mention on this map is that the terrain's a bit different, right? So all the capture point sizes are usually different depending on the map. And in this map in particular, we have Graveyard, which is a very large capture point.
Yeah.
And so historically, this really favored bunker comps that had a lot of sustain, a lot of bunkers. But with the meta shifting towards a lot more damage, less support, it's not so much the case.
They've been getting a lot tighter these games, actually, a lot, because it had the potential to kind of snowball and roll in one team favor. But with this meta, it's a lot more exciting. The scores are a lot tighter, and I kind of want to see a Lord Rush. If I'm honest.
Yeah, Lord Rush is always exciting. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing to note, actually, when we talk about how the meta has changed from bunker support to full DPS team, is that you would assume that the games would go by quicker. You would assume that because there's less TP guys in the field, guys that are easier to kill, that the games would actually go faster. But because teams are playing for 3 points, always keeping them decapped, and always the capture points are always changing hands, the games actually tend to go even longer than normal. I mean, the first game we saw today went for, goodness, it was like probably a good 13 minute game. Yeah, so it went for a very long time there. So kind of it's been interesting watching the meta shift to the new way that we play it now. I think you could attribute it to the NA players. There's a lot of NA players that played on NA predominantly, and they kind of transferred over to EU, and the meta has kind of adapted a little bit. The two regions are effectively separated, right? So whenever you get a little crossover, things tend to change.
Yeah, indeed, and we do play on the EU. We still do play more of a, with the Guardian and whatnot, but that's slowly changing. Like you said, it's becoming more popular to play some DPS builds, and we have some very some people have gone the opposite way as well. So there's a lot of variation in this game. You can do a lot of different stuff with characters, and we've seen a variation of the builds in each of the professions today.
All right, just gonna get these players on these teams really quick here, and then we'll roll into our second game.
Awesome. So yes, and like you said with Helsef and also Sizer, we've been calling it kind of a pain train combination, because it's a lot of the same with 55 HP Monks, another team. That Thief Mesmer combo is so brutal and so horrible to come up against. It's nice, it's exciting to see them two guys come together actually.
All right, Jeb, so the game's gonna start here in just a couple seconds. If you wouldn't mind doing the honors of calling the splits as the map starts.
Okay, so we're going to see the red team. Potentially, we are going to see some more defensive move from the red team again. Might be better going for the 2-cap, but they are going to stretch Lypion out over to that waterfall node to keep that contested. But look, the pain train situation is going to happen with Sizer, and also Helsef going to put a lot of pressure onto that node straight away onto the red team's close point, which is going to be Quarry. And I think their target is probably going to be Rom, which is indeed is. With the Moa coming out straight away onto Rome, he's going to actually have to run off point and actually try and line the sight possible. I think he's potentially going to go down. He's going to get in trouble trying to lay that trap off to actually put some pressure back onto the team. But now using that heal, it's a slow heal, it's over time, so it needs to be very cautious on this node.
Alright, so Rom was able to survive through the Moa there, so great job by Rom there, avoiding a lot of the damage. Sizer actually getting forced off. He's going to have to sit back and wait for his withdrawal to come back up so he can get back into the fight here. That would be his heal. Rom's still under a lot of pressure right now, though. Helsef's doing a lot of work here. Getting super low. He's got his Troll Engine coming off of cooldown here just momentarily, but it is an overtime heal.
Well, he's popped it again, so he's going to be, he might be okay, but look, PhD is doing a fantastic job of just trying to AoE, put that pressure on. Lord Helsef is actually going to go down from behind. They were so focused on Rom that Red Levin was able to come in and put some burst down on him, so that's a really good, that's what they needed to do in this game compared to the last. Red Levin doing a fantastic job of supporting that 2v2.
Yeah, absolutely, so the quarry point is going to go to the red team here, very well played by them, able to thwart Sizer and Helsef's attempt there for the instant from stealth Moa gank.
That's it, indeed. And we did see a death as well on mid from the blue team, so red team are a lot stronger in these fights at the moment, but still blue team do have the caps coming in over on the waterfall. We have seen Texby going down, so red team getting a lot of the kills on the map at the moment, which is going to benefit them in the long run, especially with the rotation game. They can keep the deaths up, they can out-rotate the red team the blue team in that way.
And like we mentioned before, we're already 2 minutes into the game here, and the score is only 31-31, just because these points tend to stay decapped for a majority of the game here as the teams are out of the gate. We'll try to cover all 3 nodes, trying to get themselves in even fights, whether those are 1v1, 2v2s, and then try to move their players to get the +1 scenarios, right? So anytime that you have more players than the other team, you're probably going to be in a better position.
Which is currently what's happened over on Waterfall. There's Lypion's in the 1v2, but Rom has managed to come into the point. Lypion needs to get off node, but unfortunately he has gone into the down state. Whether or not he will be able to take advantage of this and take him down. The res is coming out very slow. He's possibly going to get it within an inch. Oh, He's going to get back up. Isn't he in vengeance? No, he's actually back into the fight. We have seen Red Levin come back in again in that 2v2 situation, putting that pressure on Helseth just on the rock on the right hand side of the waterfall. Very good job from him, which is going to mean that Lifeon can get his health back and come back into this fight quite effectively. All 3 points at the moment are contested.
All right, Levin actually taking Helseth out here. He's going to go into downstate, probably get cleaved out here. I'm not sure if I'm going to see a res come up onto him. He's getting fairly low, a lot of poison on him as well, so I don't imagine that they'll try to res him up. Red Levin actually goes down as well, but they do have Helseth down, so they go with cleave on the body. Red Levin should res back up. There we go. Helseth's down, and yep, we have Camden down as well. Karam. Not Camden. I'm in London. It's
Camden's a nice place, it's fine. 720 going down over on the quarry node, or Denshi, sorry, as we should be calling him. Probably Texby is going to win that 1v1. Although I think someone maybe came over to finish him off as well. Xantos in the 1v2 situation. No one really on the blue team to get in any situation to help him out. Red team possibly could get this cap, although we're going to see Helseth coming in, dropping that portal. I believe that was probably coming in back from the spawn. So if anyone can respawn, they can either get into the fight quickly or people can escape out of that fight.
Very unfortunate there for Zapdos. Zapdos went into his vapor form, tried to get to that portal that Helseth laid down. Just barely missed it by about a foot. Was not able to get to the portal in time to interact with it, and unfortunately was not able to get him evac out of the point there.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Nice play, nice idea from Helseth there. Really good play. He's in a lot of pressure as well on the south side of the point on the map at the moment, so he's going to come out. Although I think we're going to see 720 actually put a lot of pressure on him. Going to move on to his perspective. Although Helseth doing a nice job with Texby currently just removing some conditions with that elixir gun, of course, enabling Helseth to come back into the node.
All right, Red Levin coming in to fight Helseth up on the wall here when he has that Texy supporting him. I'm not sure what Red Levin's thinking here. He is really, really low. Let's jump into Red Levin's perspective here. He does have his heal off of cooldown now, and looks like Karam is hot on his trail.
Yeah, I think he's overstretching himself just a little bit there, but sometimes you can maybe just get lucky and get a little bit of burst off, which, you know, can really surprise the other player, because they might think, oh, he's low on health, he's going to try and escape, I'll just back off a bit, and then just suddenly he'll come in with some burst.
That was really well played by Karam there. I want to call that out real quick here. He did put Red Levin put a black powder down, tried to do the Heartseeker through it for the combo finish for the stealth. Karam actually landed in the updraft in the middle of the Heartseeker animation, interrupting Red Levin, and was able to take him down there.
Nice.
A big waste of initiative there. He actually got the black powder down, so wasted 6 there, and then you know, obviously the Heartseeker did not work out for him.
Oh, it's unfortunate. He's done some, but also for the opposite player to do so well and trying to interrupt that is a really, really good job. Again, we see Lord Helseth over on the waterfall, just trying to apply that extra pressure. But look, again, someone is on Helseth. So Red Team learned from the first game. They're putting pressure on the correct players. They're going to be getting this burst damage. And Helseth and Sizer are having a real problem around the map at the moment, trying to get their damage off because there's so much pressure back onto them. With Denshi putting that AoE cleave down onto that SR, of course, as well. Even though they're stealthed, or load the portal, we're going to see the portal, and everyone's going to shift back to Waterfall. Exciting stuff. They're going to try and take out Lifeon very quickly. 3 players from the blue team are going to move over here with Moa as well. Really desperate move here to try and take him down as soon as they possibly can, with Red team starting to mount onto this node. Can the blue team take this point? Not sure it's going to happen. It's in the down state. 720 going down as well into that state, and we're going to see possibly blue team coming back into this game, and the points at the moment not really that much of a difference. Our Lord kill is perfectly fine to happen.
Yeah, very well played there by Helseth and Sizer. Obviously, they came and got the Moa off on the Lifeon, and the amount of damage those two guys can do in tandem is just insane. And unfortunately, Lifeon not able to survive through that. Denji came in, tried to get that res off, and paid the price because obviously Sizer and Helseth able to put more damage down besides just the initial burst, and they were able to cleave him down when he went for the attempted res.
Just having a look again at this mid fight. Although Rom has gone down at mid, we can see PhD possibly get a res. That's very good. The Sizer can now come in and do his burst damage down onto him to try and get that point into their favour. You're going to see Red team members coming into the node as well. A lot of AoE pressure coming in. 720 going for the res. He's going to be able to get it. It's very low on HP, down to about 50-60%. It's not able to. So many conditions coming onto this map at the moment, onto this node, with the poison as well, which isn't going to help them. We're going to see PhD going to the downstate as well. Zapdos going for that possible down. He has secured that. So blue team twisting this into their favour, but because the node's so big, 720 can live for a little bit of time here. Red Levin coming in as well, trying to put that pressure onto Helseth. are they going to be able to take this node quick enough to turn the tides?
This is such a tough point to decap here. Obviously, it's huge, right? And you can really extend the fights that long enough to have your players come back in and reinforce you on the mid node here. I mean, really, it's probably the most important node to hold on this map just because it is so crucial. It kind of gives you a better offensive place as well, right? You're in the central part of the map. You can kind of move to either your home point or the enemy team's far point at your own discretion.
And I'm actually quite surprised to see Red being so mobile around the map at the moment as well, because they've got their less mobile team, but they're doing a fantastic job because they can sustain on the points a lot longer. They can support those nodes quite easily. But in the middle of the moment, still not decap, but blue team have gone for the opposite tactic. They've actually got for the outside nodes. So really the pressure is back onto the red team because slowly in this map, 7 minutes left, we haven't even hit 300 points left yet. Blue team can come back into the lead with this 2-cap.
All right, Hellseth just playing the wall here. As you can see, he's using the greatsword auto attacks, kind of get a little burst out with his mirror blade and his mind step. Finally able to take Red Levin down on the point here. He's going to get cleaved out, not even a stomp going out. And we also see PhD getting fairly low as well.
This is a shame for the red team. They need to apply some pressure elsewhere. I think they tried to do it over on the quarry node, but they're really losing this mid cap. They get pigeonholed like they did in the last game. Blue team will be able to take this point slowly and contest it, and then that will actually be able to snowball this into the blue team's favour. It hasn't happened yet, so hoping red team are going to send out members to opposite sides of the map. We are going to see Red Levin possibly going for a quarry attack at the moment, as the blue elementalist isn't really aware that that's going to happen. So decap is very possible at the moment. But look at the score, 308 points to red versus 307, and when he gets that decap, although the decap has just happened at mid, which is not going to enable the red team to get any kind of lead here, unfortunately for them. But this is very tight match.
All right, we saw Texby get taken in downstate there. Hellseth came in for that res. They're able to get Texby back up. Hellseth unfortunately going down in the process here. They're going to be cleaving him out. Sizer actually coming in trying to get that res up. It's going to be up to Denchi to try to keep Hellseth in the downstate here, but he's not going to be great at putting cleave damage on the down body here. Trying to put a damage onto Sizer and Hellseth here. Actually looks like he's going to be able to turn Sizer away. Great job by Denchi there, getting the stomp off onto Hellseth.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue now with Texby out. Now Red Team really can just, use that momentum to get some caps, and hopefully they can probably get the quarry at the moment. That is going to probably, Blue Team are going to get the quarry. Doing a little bit of a regroup because they're aware that their players are respawning back.
Red Levin is actually in downstate over here at quarry. He's actually going to get back up here. He was able to get a free res. Karam, I guess, did not see where he was, so Red Levin's back in the fight here. Sizer's going to be piecing out. Maybe Red Levin's going to try to engage him in roads here. This is kind of a risky move, I think. Yeah,
I think Red Levin's just trying to put the extra pressure back onto Sizer, and if that blue team member is going to stick on the quarry, maybe PhD could advance. But with this lead with the kind of lead the Red Hat team have, they just want to sit on it for a little bit. They've only got 4.5 minutes coming up to now for the rest of the game. So close, so tight in this game. I'm not sure how it's going to go at the moment because Red Team feels like maybe they could potentially make a mistake, but if they're calm and collected, look, we're going to see a little bit of a move, a distraction tactic from PhD. This could cost them. Sizer has gone over towards the waterfall node. He's going to get that decap, and that impatience maybe it might actually lose Red Team the game.
Right, so it looks like PhD doesn't actually care about the point, so he's just going to try to hammer that door down. I mean, they are in Lord range now, right? So they have 353 points, so they could really all in on that on the Lord rather, and go for the kill. And if they're able to take it down, they win. It's a guaranteed win here. So PhD actually pushing in, going to try to go in for that Guild Lord here. We're going to keep the camera on him for now. Looks like there is some action at the base here. So as a note, we do have 2 players on respawn for the blue team. So this will be Hellseth and Zapdos respawning here just very shortly. So PhD will probably at a big disadvantage because they're going to respawn and try to take him out almost immediately.
Yeah, it's not the best timing in the world, to be honest.
Yeah, there we go. So we see Hellseth coming in, getting the MOA out onto PhD. PhD was going to try to kite out there. He does see he has a couple allies coming in here, so he's going to try to get back in the fight here. He is kind of he's hurting right now. He's going to pop his Endure Pain, try to avoid some of the damage here.
Try and find this Lord to see what his HP's on as well. There we go, I've got him here. But he's still at full HP as well, and there's so much pressure onto these guys. Now, Red Team can sustain around the boss, but they can't do a lot of pressure onto the boss, like direct damage-wise. They've got Lycan and they've got Rock.
As a note, we do have Karam over in the Red Team base here, going for the Lord as well. So if he can actually beat them, this could be close.
This is very risky.
It's going to come down to a double Lord rush, I think. I'm not sure how it's going on the other side here. I do see, looks like Ram is down, Denchi's down as well. The Blue Lord's still looking really, really well. So I think I think this might be the end. I think this might be the end, Jebro.
I'm really feeling it at the moment. There's more HP down on the Red Lord at the moment than there is the Blue Lord, and with only 1 player on it. They haven't got enough burst damage, and one of the main sources damage as well. Rom is down and out of the fight. There's no way he can come back into this. Blue being more patient.
No, no!
Oh, no!
They actually got it. I missed it.
Oh my god, I missed it as well. That's terrible.
Someone must have came in with some late burst there. I totally thought they were in the fight there. So red team coming back at the very end there, getting that Lord kill and winning the game 513 to 448. When I totally thought that Cram was going to be able to eventually get that boss down. I mean, it was kind of a disadvantage there. He is celestial focused, so he kind of does damage over time, and he was going to have to whittle it down, very slowly. But very well played there by the red team, coming back at the very last second there and getting that Lord kill.
I'm glad we both missed it. That's fine. I feel a bit better.
I would have shamed you so hard if only you missed it.
Yeah, but easy. Like we said, it didn't feel like it was going to happen at all. So 1-1 now.
Yeah, so 1-1 actually going into so we will be doing a best of 3. We'll be getting these guys into the arena here just shortly, and we'll be doing our final match on the Battle of Kylo, which is yet again another conquest map. So the same rules apply as before. We do have a new secondary mechanic though, which is going to be the trebuchets. So we have 2 trebuchets on the map, 1 for each team, and obviously getting on that trebuchet is going to launch fiery balls of death onto wherever you select actually. So it's really great for team fights. You can lay down long-range support for your teammates. It does a big AoE knockback as well, so if you actually landed on your enemies, they're going to be hurting, right? They're going to take a ton of damage, especially if you're a squishier profession like a thief or a mesmer. If you take one of those trebuchet shots, that could be honestly the end of you.
And it's a big knockback as well, and even if they're going to avoid that damage by dodging, they're using a lot of their utility and survivability to actually dodge. So even if you aren't getting those hits, it's still nice to have that on-point pressure. They've got to worry about the opposite team putting damage onto them. They've also got to worry about this treb that's coming into the point. And I like the big fiery ball of death.
Right.
Which is kind of exactly what it is. And of course it is used in World v World as well. So like you said, you can just move it left or right, pretty much wherever you want. And then you've got that button which you can also just get the different power that you want. So you can either just pop a shot into mid or put an extended shot over towards the far node.
Yeah, the idea with the secondary objectives here too is to really split the players up. I mean, almost every map that we have, if you look at it, the players are they have to choose what they want to go for. Do they want to go for the points themselves and try to generate points, or do they need to go and address the secondary objectives and make sure that they're not getting too far behind for whatever those mechanics do. One of the most popular maps we have, Temple of the Silent Storm, owning the buffs that they spawn on the map, the secondary objective will actually turn the game into your favor very swiftly if you actually go for them. And if you decide to ignore them, it can be hugely detrimental for your team. Now, the good thing about Kylo is that if you do decide to ignore the enemy team's trebuchet, you can't outplay it by just dodging the treb shots. That said, the amount of dodge that you have is a small amount, right? You have to regenerate your endurance bar, which is right here. As you can see, every player has 2 dodges, and they regenerate it over time. So you can choose to ignore it for a little while if you have a lot of endurance and vigor. Vigor helps regenerate your endurance. But if you let it go for too long, you'll eventually get to a point where you just can't keep up with it anymore, and you're probably going to get rocked by that trebuchet.
Indeed, and that's what I like about this map. Like you said, with the different points on the map where you need to be very aware, like, do you stay home and do you guard your close point, or do you push out to the map and try and take down those trebuchets to take that out of the fight so the teams can't just drop out a shot, because these trebs are very close to their respawn. You can just jump up there, especially if you're a thief. Be very mobile to get onto that treb as soon as you respawn with a couple of seconds. Just drop in a treb at some point and just completely change the team fight.
The other thing to note here too is that this map really favors mobility, right? Yeah. Especially the clock tower here, as you can see, it's kind of its own building, right? It's got a couple different ways you can access. You go up the stairs here. There's also 2 pathways right here that you can go up, but you can also just teleport up to the top here. There's a couple different points you can use that if you're a thief with a teleport or a mesmer or elementals, you can kind of bypass a lot of this and get up on the side ramparts, like right over here. So this map really favors mobility. So looking at the composition that we have here, Jebro, do you have a favorite coming out of the gate?
I'd give blue the favorite, as in Lord Helseth and Sizer can just, they can just run straight through the middle of the map. They don't have to avoid anything whatsoever. Even the Elementalist as well, just checking that he's got Lightning Flash there, so he can teleport up as well. The only people he can't are Texby and, actually Lib can as well. So the only person he can't is Texby, and he's still got a lot of mobility with those speedy kits. So they've got a lot more range on this map to be very fast, very supportive, and also destroy their enemy treb, get back to their own treb and use that. So I would favour the blue team probably at the moment.
Did you go over Portal? You went over Portal?
How was this Portal?
Yeah.
We went over it briefly, yeah. I mean, obviously that's some great mobility around the map as well. He can plant that down when he comes out of respawn, or can use it to escape, and to just exit and like we saw in the waterfall, just get his team all the way over to one node, burst someone down, get that mower off, get the point into their favour as soon as possible.
All right, so last game starting off now. Jebro, once again, for the final time today, as this is our last match of the day, could you please call the splits as the players come out of the gate?
And indeed. Looks like Red are going to be a bit more defensive this time, going for 2 on their windmill point. They are sensing the blue team might do a 3-point push, as they've been doing quite consistently, sending one player to the mid to just sustain that point, and they are going to send, I thought the 2 thieves engaging on each other on mid, and we are going to see 720 go for that 1v1. So an even split kind of across the map, but red team not getting anyone contesting their windmill point, or they are outnumbered now in different points in the map, probably over on the mid.
Ooh, speaking of that trebuchet fire coming in, taking Lipion out, just almost deleting him here. So it looks like blue team's going to be taking the midpoint here fairly swiftly. Rom coming in, maybe trying to get that res off. He's actually going to get CC'd off of that. Not going to be able to do much there for Lipion. Lipion's going to get taken out. So it's going to be Rom and PhD left on point. PhD taking a trebuchet again to the face. They really need to do something with that trebuchet there.
Yeah, they put some pressure on now, but the Helsif has dropped that portal rather early. So, taking Red Levin out so quickly there. That burst from the shatter has taken him down, and now he's just going to actually leave the node, and kind of a bit of a wasted portal, because they actually did just re-engage on that 1v1. I think it was just preempting having to go get that repair kit, because we did actually forget to mention you can repair the Treb if it is indeed destroyed, which is just on the opposite side of the map.
All right, over here on mention, we did see Denchi and Zapdos in a LE 1v1 there, staff versus DD. Helseth coming in, and I think he's going to end this duel very, very quickly here with those shatter combos. Looks like Denchi's actually going to try to disengage. Probably not a bad call there, knowing that if he stays any longer, he's probably going to get eaten alive. He actually used his burning speed in the wrong direction there, going back towards Helseth, putting himself in a bad position. He's got to teleport up in a 1 second or so. Might try to use it to escape here. Is he going to get it off? No, not quite. He's actually going to get taken down in rows here, so he's going to get stomped out, or actually just going to let him bleed. Probably not a bad decision there.
Yeah, we're having quite a lot of action happening on the mid. Red team are really having a lot of problems. This AoE cleave down the nose, and especially, pardon me, my voice, especially the focus damage on single targets is just immense from the blue team. There's so much pressure at the moment, and they're starting to get a bit of a lead here, and they need to be very careful about their close point. Maybe a small regroup is actually needed for them in this map.
All right, Red Levin and Helseth currently going at it. Oh, Red Levin was doing some work to Helseth there, but it looks like we did get some support here coming in from Sizer. Red Levin hurting now, about 400 HP. He's going to try to disengage. Not sure where he's going to go. If Sizer or Helseth sees him, he's going to get eaten alive in about 1 second flat.
Yeah, Helseth is there. The heal has come off. He's going to try and escape. Might actually be able to get a sepsis. Might be able to get a decap over a mansion. Not too sure. We are going to see Zapdos and Sizer coming back over to this node. Lord Helseth potentially coming in for some burst support, using that stuff. I think he used Blink, to get up there, just to put an extra bit of pressure onto PhD. And he's not going to be having a fun time there at all. Red Levin trying to come in from behind to put some pressure, reverse that pressure potentially over onto Lord Helseth. Zapdos has seen him coming in from behind as well. So everyone's trying to reverse the pressure. And then they've got some more pressure coming into. So the players doing a really fantastic job, but they're outnumbered Red at the moment in this fight, and now Red Levin has gone into the downside.
And like we called that before, the synergy that Sizer and Helseth have built up over their time playing together is just absolutely what's putting them in the lead here. As you saw there, like basically the role of a thief, especially against Helseth, is really just to camp that Mesmer and make sure, pardon me, the role of a thief against the Mesmer is really just to camp that Mesmer, make sure that that Mesmer is just effectively useless. So you'll see them go for them almost exclusively, right? They'll pop in, they'll try to get the backstab combo off, just try to take those, try to take the Mesmer out. But Sizer, as soon as you saw Red Levin come out, immediately goes for Red Levin and just destroys him before he can do anything to Helseth.
Very important to do that. I mean, you just want to get rid of it. I think I just saw a trap shot coming in there, from the blue team actually. Just a drop like we mentioned before, like coming into the point, although Lip is still back on it. But like you said, that pressure is so important because you're taking him out of the fight completely and he's not able to be effective. Now, Sizer has gone down. He's 1v2, which means, Red team's starting to come back now, actually getting some kills onto this map. Probably better to leave Sizer to bleed in that burning damage. Maybe defend the mid if they possibly can. We are going to see 720 going to the downstate. Helseth has tried to take him down, going into that Vapor form for 720 to come to the map. Tread shot comes in from the blue team, which is going to apply even more pressure, and they're not sure they're going to get the res. They are going to get the res. The res is good. We still have the 2-cat coming from Red, so 145 to 177 in the favour of the blue team, but Red team have the 2-cap, so I think they're going to come back into this game, Josh.
Yeah, these trebuchets coming in here from Karam are just absolutely brutal, right? Like you saw PhD, Denchi, almost everyone's taking them to the face here. He's doing a really great job on that trebuchet. Looks like they might be sending someone to deal with him finally. Let me go back to that camera real quick here, actually. So we do have Denchi coming in to try to 1v1 Karam on the trebuchet here. Actually, Denchi's just going to go for the trebuchet, try to take it out, just do a lot of damage to that there, and just leave Karam alone for the time being.
Getting that decap now, recapping the point just as red team are starting to come back. This must be so painful at the moment. Just as they start to come back into the game, they get that decap and recapping the node, and there is no mechanic for them to get those immediate points like we saw on the previous 2 maps. Can't get the 150 point North kill, can't get the 25 point boss kill, so they really need to keep close to them in these points now, and they need to think about their nodes and where they're going to hit next, maybe split across the map, which is what people are trying to do, but Rom can't get over to that mansion at the moment. Texby is actually just shutting him down. He's managed to get past him now, so he's going to engage in that 1v1, but there is some turrets on that node now, although they have just despawned, so Texby might be in some trouble here. If he can drop a lot of condition damage on the point, he might be okay though.
Now, one thing to note about this map as well is that this map is much more attrition focused, right? Basically, you come into the game and you have all the tools at your disposal right out of the bat. There's no real strong comeback mechanic. It's not like Forest where you have the creatures on the side that can get you 25 points every time you kill them. There's no guild lord. It's really just about maintaining whatever your team strategy is executing it perfectly, and using those trebuchets as kind of like your as a supplemental, like as a bonus essentially, helping you control the map even better. But if you start to get really far behind in this game, it's really hard to come back. It's really you can't rely on the side objectives. You can't really rely on point generating things like creatures and NPCs. You just have to rely on your teammates playing well.
Exactly, and at the moment, the red team are really struggling. Getting that, it looks like they might be getting their windmill node back at the moment, trying to put that pressure on over on the mansion, which is good. Sizer can't get on point at the moment because Helseth just wondering whether or not he's going to try and help him out. But red team are going to get the 2 cap, enabling them to come back into this map, and they might need to put some pressure onto mid just to get that decap because, still 100 points. If they keep the 2 cap, they can come back. They need to be thinking, what are we going to do? We're going to be more defensive?
I mean, this is the way of the 3-point strategy, right? Like, these guys are just going in, fighting team fights, and whatever team actually gets that team fight or wins that team fight is just, acquiring that node. Exactly. And we've seen these nodes just change hands so many times this game. Just a moment ago we saw a double cap for blue, and now we see double cap for red, and it looks like we're going to be moving over to mansion now for a little bit of skirmish here. It really just comes down to winning these side point skirmishes and properly rotating to the next point where you think the next fight's going to break out on.
Exactly, and at the moment, if anyone spots from the red team, potentially Zapdos is overextending from that midpoint. He's very worried because, even though they are ahead with the 2 points coming in for red team at the moment, he needs to be aware that that's possible. Oh, look at Red Levin just chasing Sizer down, taking him out from behind, just on the mid. Can Zapdos come in? Oh, the knockback is real, and is Red Levin going to be able to come back?
He's going to be able to put some damage down from the bottom here. He's got the poison down, it looks like. He's trying to get his short bow shots off. He can't land the auto attacks anymore because there is a line of sight issue there now. He's trying to get any way through the rafters there. Was not able to quite get Sizer into downstate long enough to keep him out of the game. So he's going to disengage, move back over. Actually, he sees Sizer once again. Sizer actually beating him to the next point here. See if he tries to burst down. Actually, he's going to go for Helseth. Not a bad idea there.
Yeah, Lipion just went down there. Some nice burst coming out from Sizer as he came into the node.
Red Levin staying on point. They're taking a lot of condition damage. He's actually going to try to piece out here.
Yeah, they need to get some support over to this node because the decap is very close to happening, like 3 or 4 ticks, and that node will be in the favour. Just a congestion, which is enough for blue because red team have come back with 50 points, and PhD needs to stay on that node as long as possible. Roman Kohler coming into the map as well, into the node. He's going to be able to stay on point as well. Potentially that 2v1 take out Texby as fast as possible. PhD down and Texby. We need to be careful here because one of those players can rally off the other one. PhD really high.
The resin finish. Rom's trying to go for that resin. He's going to get the res off onto PhD here. Texby's a lot lower. If they get that stomp off, Rom's actually getting really low here as well. I think this is actually going to go in favor of the blue team here. I thought red team had it, but they have 3 players down now, it looks like. Red Levin, actually, never mind. I take that back. Lipion coming in, saving PhD from downstate. So we have actually most of the players back in the fight here. Going to reset the fight. Rom actually finally going down, going to get stopped out, and Red Levin does go back down once again. A lot of cleave coming onto his body right now, so it's really going to be left to Lipion and PhD to stay alive on point. Keep that point neutralized as long as they can here.
2 of the best people other than 720 to be in this node at the moment, but Lipion's so low on HP. If he goes down for the res on PhD, he's going to go down himself. Unfortunately, he did go close to his body.
He's going to go down regardless, yep.
So not really winning at all there. They're going to lose the node, and it's not enough to get them back into this cap because, of course, we have had the decap over on the mansion as well. So the points slowly disappearing for the red team. We're getting closer and closer to the end of this game. 4-10 coming out for the blue team, still with midpoint. 3-6-3 for red, but no cap coming out as the blue team have indeed got windmills. So this is going to be very strong for them now. They can afford to be very defensive now.
Alright, so then cleaving Helseth out on point here. Texby coming in, doing a little love tap onto Denji here, but he's actually going to piece out here.
Again, like good friends, these guys, so you know. think there might be some bragging rights maybe after this.
Oh, there definitely will be. There definitely will be. So we do see the blue team slowly crawling ahead here. It's currently 441 to 368. Red team currently owns no capture points. I take that back. They just captured Mansion, but they still don't have quite enough to come back in this game unless they get a couple more decaps going. And yeah, actually, they're going to need a couple full caps. We have about 5 minutes left on the clock here.
Yeah, it's a bit late in the day, unfortunately, for them to come back. If they can get that decaps, they really can come back into this game. I've seen some awesome games where we've hit even 490 points in the favour of a blue team. Red team will still be about around 400. And if you can't get those nodes, the only way you can get points other than the kills, it's totally doable, but it just doesn't feel like the red team are going to be able to come back into this.
All right, on midpoint here, Tex, we taking a little bit of pressure here from PhD. We do have Sizer here helping him out. Denji coming in to try to support PhD as well. Little team fight, little skirmish breaking out on point here again. Tex a lot of conditions on him. He's going to get taken down into the downstate. There he goes. Here comes the stomps. And yeah, looks like he's going to get taken out. Sizer not going to stick around to get the res off on him. So we might get a decap here on midpoint. Let's go over to Windmill. Up, Sizer getting a decap on Mansion.
Yeah,
see, the points are just trading hands so quickly.
Yeah,
and we're actually going to see the last final point going to the blue team here. So that's going to be a 2-1 victory for the blue team.
Indeed.
So big shout out to TCG and Cheese Mode and various other top players from Guild Wars 2 PvP scene for coming out and doing little exhibition matches for us today. But that's the end of our matches today. So I just wanted to say thanks, guys, for watching all our live streams over the past couple days here. Hopefully you guys like Guild Wars 2. We do have a free trial currently going on, so if you're interested in the game, you don't want to quite throw the dough down to buy the game, you can check it out before you actually purchase it. We do have a sale, it's 50% off right now. You can definitely check that out as well. If you guys are interested in competitive stuff like this, we do have the World Tournament Series and weekly community cups that go on constantly. We'll be in China in December. We'll have our first World Tournament Series event there, so it should be pretty exciting. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the streams. And again, my name is Josh, and I'm a competitive events manager at ArenaNet. And I was joined by Mr. Jebro here, my co-caster. And thanks for watching, guys.